Yo, what's up YouTube? Dirty Dan Gaming coming back with another Rise of Kingdoms video, and today we are going to be talking about our King of the Nile review. So we are pretty much wrapped up in our King of the Nile KvK, and just want to give you my thoughts and opinions on the KvK format. We'll kind of dive into the map setup, the rewards, which have changed a little bit, the fighting that you're going to have, all the good stuff, the nooks and crannies. This might be a little bit of a longer video, but with Dirty Dan videos aren't very long, so sit back, relax, and let's jump right into it. Okay, so you just dropped into your King of the Nile KvK. What is the first thing that most people do? They're going to go up into your KvK tab. So this is going to be kind of your home base for whatever KvK format you are going to be in. Some things have changed a little bit just for the interface wise. So your Hall of Heroes is now going to be up here in the top right. The season shop is going to be very much the same. It's going to be here, and then you're also going to have your inscription shop, which we will have access to. I'm not going to go through all of these. I'll go through them in another video, but you are going to have the ability to get some nice inscriptions in your KvKs. And then you're going to obviously have your kind of setup over here with your overview for the King of the Nile. Everything's pretty much the same here. One of the things that's really nice about King of the Nile is it's a camp clash, so there's only 2 camps, which this means the new diplomacy system that has been implemented within Rise of Kingdoms means that it cannot take effect within King of the Nile. So what does that mean? So if you go into your coalition tab, you can see diplomacy, and you can pretty much add different coalitions, but they have to be from different camps. Because King of the Nile, there's only 2 camps, doesn't work. We tried it. It's a little stupid, but it is what it is. You have the ability to team up and pretty much pick your allies, which is very nice. Again, it's a nice little tidbit from Light vs. Darkness. Seasonal strategies, which I think is a very nice addition. I think that they should probably add this in probably more KvK formats. There's some pretty cool ones in here. I'm going to touch on this a little bit in this video, but I'm going to save the kind of deep dive, or at least strategies that we had in our KvK for a separate video, because all of these seasonal strategies, they will vary from KvK to KvK. And that's within same seasons. Like our buddies in 2576 had totally different seasonal strategies than we had, and we were running King of the Nile at the same time. As you can see here, seasonal strategies, you're going to have your structures, of course. And the main thing that's changed about structures is that you're going to have occupation points for them. So what do I mean by occupation points? If you go to Path of Greatness, this is going to be where all your rewards are listed. So under here on your Vindicator tab, you are going to have your occupation point systems here. These are going to give you access to the Vindicator, or the Vindicator Tavern, and you are going to your occupation points are going to place you to get some nice goodies. Now, they have the camp clash scoring here, but honestly it doesn't really matter, I believe, at the end of the day, because you're getting rewards for controlling things and for destroying strongholds and stuff like that within the KvK anyway. So as you can see here, destroy 4 enemy camp Hurons for your coalition, for your camp, destroy 4 enemy camp sanctuaries to get your coin, 6 enemy camp Hurons to get another coin. So the camp clash honestly is just really, like, it kind of means nothing, because you are going to be getting the rewards regardless, even if you are able to kind of trade some of those structures, I believe. So if I'm wrong about that, leave a comment down in the comment section down below. Obviously honor rewards are all the same, conquest rewards. So one real quick tidbit on your structures, right? So actually, if we go into here, if we go into your expedition leaderboard, you can see the occupation point leaderboard. As you can see here, 1875 holding the Zig, so they have the 5100 points. Now, if an enemy camp touches your structure, they will not swing those points in their favor. So opposite of what we're doing here, right? So we're giving this sanctuary to our allies, our 2305 actually coalition mates. We're going to be giving this to them so they can swing their points by 100. Now, if say 2293 were to take this structure from us, they aren't obtaining that 100 points. They're just denying us from hitting those points for the end KvK rewards. So within your camp, you can exchange. The points will flip. With enemy camps, you're going to just negate the ability for your enemies to obtain those points. Now, I believe that's pretty much it when it comes to your kind of, home base here. One thing I did not touch on this home base screen is going to be your seasonal strategies. So we can kind of touch on this a little bit. We'll kind of go through the rules right here. So each strategy has 4 levels: basic, intermediate. So basic, intermediate, advanced, and ultimate on the last stage. Before you can adopt more advanced strategies, you must adopt the strategy from the level before it. So as you can see here, in order to get medical skills, I had to get compassion, so on and so forth. Different strategies cost different amounts of strategy points to adopt. Basic strategies cost 1, intermediate strategies cost 2, advanced strategies cost 3, and ultimate strategies cost 4. You cannot undo a seasonal strategy selection once developed, so choose wisely. You can earn up to 17 strategy points, 12 from the Lost Kingdom Chronicles, and 5 from Crusader achievements and enemy elimination. So you're gonna have, I think, 1 or 2 enemy eliminations that's going to give you those seasonal strategy coins. One of them being on your zone 5 fights, which we'll touch on those fights in a little bit. And then I can't remember when the next one is, but I definitely know that is when one of them appears. For your base seasonal strategy points, you're going to get 1 as soon as you land in Lost Kingdom. So what I did with mine, because there's no fighting for roughly about 10 days, your first fights are going to be altar fights. Since there's no fighting for 10 days, I picked Quick March because I want to get around the map a little bit faster when you're not doing really any fighting. So, I mean, if you want, the troop damage for barbs and hospital capacity, I mean, go for it. Troop damage for barbs, maybe if you're a little bit free to play, but you're going to take more damage anyway. Depends on the seasonal strategies. These are going to change but on a KvK by KvK basis anyway. And then I believe as soon as you get up to right before your ruins fights, you'll have a total of 5 seasonal strategy points that you're able to use. So what I did was I did Quick March, Keen Blade, that's 2 points, and then Spiked Armor, that's 4 points total, which left me with 1 point extra that I didn't use until we pretty much were starting up on the zone 5 fights. So I'll kind of retouch on those a little bit later as we kind of check out the map layout. One thing I want to note, leadership. Most importantly, please do your homework when it comes to seasonal strategies, because if you have something like this, you're going to want to really emphasize to your players that this is something that they need to have. So this is going to increase the damage of your independent troops by 2%. When garrisoning or rally attacking a stronghold, every one of your troops taking part will provide a 2% bonus damage to the captain. This effect can stack up to 5 times and does not apply to independent troops. So this is going to be for anything in a rally or garrison scenario, and it is going to bring you up to an additional 10% damage. That is huge. You need to eye on these things if you are leadership, and if you're just normal players too, please just use your heads, because we sent multiple mails on these seasonal strategies, and there were still people who did not pick up what we were suggesting to them. We're not suggesting, honestly, we were telling them, like, you need to pick this. And I told them, if we're losing, it's because you're an idiot and you didn't pick up teamwork, because you're trying to go for something else that probably doesn't make sense. So we had an officer meeting on this. I really dove into these seasonal strategies with my team to kind of figure out what was going to be the best course of action for our kingdom and also for our campmates and whatnot too. One quick note on aggression, if you guys do end up getting this. So this one's really dope after adopting the strategy. So just keep that in mind after. It's keyword. Damage dealt is increased by 0.1% per 5 million kill points gained. This effect stacks up to 100 times. So you can get another additional 10% all damage bonus on 500 million kill points or something like that, which is honestly, that's kind of where I landed. If I had aggression, I could tell you right now I would probably be a little bit more aggressive in chasing those kill points. I opted for Spike Armor because I wasn't planning on really being a rally lead, and I didn't think I was going to be able to push up to aggression that quickly, but I think it's definitely doable. There's a good amount of fighting that you can do so, and even with just ruins and altar fights and the little bit of zone fights that you're going to get, you definitely would have the ability to do so. And also what you can do is, and they might fix this, so please keep in mind, please note this, they might fix it, but as of our KvK, you were able to exchange not just within your own kingdom, but your own camp. You can exchange kills to boost your aggression. So heed my warning, you have to check within your own KvK. So those are some quick notes. Again, I'm going to dive into my seasonal strategies and kind of the thought process of how we kind of developed not only mine but ours for a kingdom. So we will dive into that in another video. So if you guys are enjoying the content, please consider subscribing, hit the bell notification so you can see when that video does pop up, and consider dropping a like on the video if you're enjoying so far. So that's your home base kind of stuff. I'm gonna start getting into some of the nitty gritty stuff. And well, Dan, well, how's the fighting? So look, I think because this is so similar to Light vs Darkness that this is going to be used as a recovery KvK. Now, does that mean that King of the Nile is going to be boring? I think it really depends on what you, your campmates, and your enemies want to make out of it. You know, I think that the hype around this KvK kind of, you know, developed rather early, and I think that was attributed to having an Imperium Kingdom within the KvK, and then also having Kingdom 2293 within the KvK as well, who were kind of known as Imperium killers. So it really is, in my opinion, what your camp and what your enemies are going to make out of it. I think there is definitely plenty of room for fighting. So here's a quick overview of the mapping. So we were the B seeds for our camp, and as you notice, if you want to just kind of flip over here, these are the B seeds for the enemy camp. As you can see, there's a wall here and there's no passes. So your B seeds, you're not going to be fighting. And I don't know how this is going to be structured for other KvKs with the other seedings and whatnot. This is just how it was for us with the AABB AABB format. Ruins 5.2. I believe this zone here is going to be past battles. So very similarly down here for 2467. Where's our zone? 2467 and 2172 were both fighting for this zone. 2467 had totally flagged this out, very much so as we flagged this zone out entirely, as well as we went into past fights with 2293. I think that they could change this a little bit. I'm not really sure why there's a wall here. I think Chisgul made a very good point when it comes to battles that are like this. When you have past setups like past 7 in Heroic Anthems, the excitement level is really down here because you know what's going to be happening for those next few days, like a day or two or so. The zones are gridlocked. There's usually going to be one stronger camp or one stronger kingdom that's not flagging out their zone. The weaker kingdom is going to have to flag out their zone, and you guys are just going to be, you know, fighting on forts and passes for God knows how long, with the whole fort stacking meta. So he made a very good point that the excitement levels here, when you have free zones that you can build into, the excitement levels much higher. I think that they can do with getting away with this wall, to be honest. Get rid of the zone 6 passes, or if anything, make this like a pocket zone with some crystals and stuff, and then just, you know, make the structures kind of close, but then allow us to kind of free build in. Our experience on this fight was a pretty good one, though. I mean, it allowed us as a kingdom to kind of dump farms into a fort, which we never really had to experience before. So we've always been kind of the aggressor as a C seed, moving up to a B seed. We were always a very thick C seed, and luckily we were as thick as we were, because it allowed us with 2305 to kind of put up a decent little fight against 2293, who just totally wrecked us on numbers. But these zones are cool. I think that they could do with a little bit of adjusting and just get rid of this wall and just make it a little bit more fun. I think it's a little unnecessary to have these big pass battles so early in a KvK. So 10 days into the KvK, you're going to have your ruins fights, and then I believe it's 14 days are when these passes open. So just take that into notes for when you are planning for your kingdoms. Again, you're going to have about 5 strategy points entering your ruins fights, and then you're going to get a few more as you jump up into those level 6 pass battles. And then you're going to extend into your zone 6s. Now your zone 6s are going to extend into these little pocket zones, as I like to call them. I kind of refer to it up there in your zone 5.2, but these little pocket zones, which are going to be, for us at least, is when we were finally able to throw down with our B seed enemies. And these level 9 passes, they will stay semi-protected, so you can't go in and straight invade them right away. Here's your altar fights, which will give you your nice little taste up against your, I guess, more similar camp in terms of power. And then I want to say that these open, and then 4 days later or so, the Kingsland will open. Kingsland will open, and then you do your thing. Kingsland, fast and furious. This is a very small Kingsland, so I think territory is very, very important. I think you need to really be on top of your game when it comes to territory and building and all that stuff, because the zone is a little bit smaller, I think, than traditional Kingslands. A nice little difference here on your King of the Nile KvKs is that these level 10 passes are going to be semi-protected. So after Kingsland opens, I believe it's 5 days until these, as well as these, will then become unsealed. So Kingsland opens, 5 days later, this is going to open, as well as your level 9 passes. And why that's kind of nice is if you get pushed out of Kingsland, you're kind of still there chilling. And if you have access to this zone, you are going to kind of wrap around and kind of invade a zone 6, where I don't think you've really had that opportunity to do so, and kind of keep yourself alive in the fight for a little bit longer. That wasn't the case here. We ended up winning this Giza pocket zone, and we had this totally flagged out, so they weren't able to kind of take it from us. And I don't think any of the other kingdoms tried to kind of wrap around, because the might of 1875 was just a little bit too much. This Kingsland was very fun. I think the map and as a whole is pretty cool. I really enjoy this zone. What's nice about this zone as well is going to be a little bit of a mass of crystals here. What I think that Lilith can do is actually just make more crystals. Just make that a really juicy, really juicy zone that you really want to fight for, that, you know, you're putting a flag down and you're getting like 2 or 3 crystals per. I think that would make this zone much more appealing. I don't think you need a structure in here or anything. Just make this zone really loaded up with crystals, because crystals at the end of the day can make or break your Kingsland, or even just, you know, your KvK in general. The one thing I would add for this KvK, it's called King of the Nile, yet there's no rivers in this KvK format, which I understand it. You're in a desert and this and that, but at least give us the Nile River, Lilith. Like, give us one big ass river. Whereas, like, I think that they could benefit from putting little rivers is probably in these altar zones, these altar and ruin zones. So one big differentiator from this KvK and other KvKs, there's no choke points in your altar and ruins fights. Like, it's straight up, like, so when we went into fight 2293, because they had the population advantage, it was very tough because we couldn't use there was no tactics that we could implement really on utilizing choke points. It's just, here's open space, go fight each other, and whoever's stronger is going to pretty much win. So I think that they can add some kind of choke point element and give us the Nile River. Like, you're calling it King of the Nile, but there's no river or anything of the sort. Like, that's the one pet peeve I have with some of these map designs, I think, is that they can do a little bit more when it comes to the choke points and rivers and stuff like that. And especially in a map that's called King of the Nile, like, just come on, guys, it's just self-explanatory. But I digress. I think that's pretty much it. This video went much longer. This is actually my second take. I did one originally, but I didn't like the structure of it, so I kind of wanted to redo it and run through. So I think that made it a little bit longer. But how would I rate this KvK as a whole? I'd give it 2 thumbs up. I mean, again, it really depends on your camp, your allies, your enemies. Are you guys going to kind of agree, like, hey, let's go at it with each other? I'm definitely gonna stand my ground and say that this will probably remain as a recovery KvK format. Simply too because you can chill in your zone 4 and not get invaded. There's no such thing as zone 4 invasions in King of the Nile, which is a little I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, there's no zone 4 invasions. One thing I will quickly note, on these passes, so your camp can exchange passes at any given point. It doesn't matter if they're semi-protected or not. Campmates can exchange passes. So 1875 kind of pulled that off on this 2467 pass and really kind of boned 2293. I don't think anyone was really expecting it, so they were able to 4-drop over here, take this pass again, not unprotected yet, and 4-drop in here and kind of really screw over 2293. So you can go, so the limit to where your enemies can go is these level 4 passes, but your campmates can go through to any friendly zones, any passes they can take, regardless if they're semi-protected or not. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So that was a nice little tidbit that I threw in. So if you guys stuck around to the end of the video, congratulations, because you know, some people might not know that. So again, pretty good KvK. I think this will remain as a recovery KvK, just because it's so similar to Light vs Darkness. But I had a blast, had a great time. I know our kingdom had a great time, but it is definitely time for a recovery KvK. And I will ask you guys if anyone knows the best way to approach a, you know, recovery KvK. I know there's no such thing as a true recovery, but if you guys have any ideas, please drop them down in the comments below. If you've done a King of the Nile before and you have any thoughts and opinions on the format as well, leave a comment down below. And if you guys are enjoying the content, consider subscribing and hit that like button. It's all free. Very much appreciated. Love you guys for sticking around on this little bit of a longer video. Hope you enjoyed the review. Stay tuned for my seasonal strategies review, and then we'll probably dive into the Autark shop. As soon as that opens, I'll make a video on that as well. Love y'all. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'm out. Have a good one. Peace.